Our guest today calls herself Mother God.
All of these people are liars, screaming behavior. I am God. They were very dysfunctional, very dysfunctional. We're a cult. We're a cult. We're a cult. What we're doing is experimenting.
The group is a cult.
Or the majority of humanity.
The group is a cult.
These people are liars.
The group is a cult.
It's a lot of mental manipulation, a lot of brainwash.
That Amy has become mentally ill.
Either way, it's unacceptable. I wear moms say, I don't know how the fuck this is gonna look on the tapes. It's probably gonna be absolutely horrifying. And I was like, in a pool of pee. And I was like, in a pool of pee. Like, this is great.
The group is a cult. The group is a cult. The group is a cult. The group is a cult.
These people are liars.
The group is a cult.
It's a lot of mental manipulation, a lot of brainwash.
That Amy has become mentally ill.
Either way, it's unacceptable. I wear moms say, I don't know how the fuck this is gonna look on the tapes. It's probably gonna be absolutely horrifying. And I was like, in a pool of pee. And I was like, in a pool of pee. It's like, this is great.
The group is a cult. The group is a cult. The group is a cult. The group is a cult.
Hello, everyone, and how are you all doing today? I hope that you're all having a fabulous, amazing day. I'm having a wonderful day. My daughter is having a PD day from school, so I got to sleep in. It was lovely. Suzanne, thank you so much for becoming a member. I don't know why, but for some reason, it is just showing me this now, although I did go and see that you have been a member here for a week, so if I have not welcomed you, it is because I have not seen it until now, and I very much apologize that YouTube sucks. Thank you so much. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Joe says Ascension Medical Surgery Center already called me today for my injection appointment next Thursday. Well, make sure you don't miss it, Joe. Otherwise, you could go missing or end up mummified in your bed. We don't want that. Hello, April. Good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Hello, Jack. Good to see you too. I hope you're also having an awesome day. Joe wants to remind everyone not to forget that we have Google Auto Mods on due to the fact that I have about 20 people reporting my channel on a constant daily basis. We got a lot of flaggots here on YouTube. So, today we are going to be continuing on our journey into Ascension, into 5D full disclosure. Yes, I know I said I was doing this every Thursday. Yesterday was mine and my husband's 10-year wedding anniversary, so forgive me for not wanting to stream on that day. I have not been online hardly at all in the last week. It's been very bizarre. I've had so much to do. I have no clue what's going on, and I like it that way. So we left off on chapter 7. Yes, the 144,000 is what we were going to be talking about today. And if you did miss the first part, and you, for some reason, did not see it at all this last week, please do go and check it out. It will make this part make more sense to you. Devil's Advocate says, is it normal that the spot where I got my COVID jab tingles when I am close to a 5G tower? If you ask several people, yes, they will tell you that is very normal. You should also get a buzzing in your head and then end up controlled by Bill Gates. Thank you, Jack. Thank you. So, where we left off, things were starting to get pretty serious, if you will. We've had a lot of this explained to us in quite a hilarious way. I find it funny to go through these. I think that all of these are fucking hilarious. And my problem, too, is that one day in the future, this cult is going to disappear. I hope. I mean, I hope it doesn't go on forever like Scientology or something. It does feel like it's going to be one that hopefully gets phased out eventually. And along with that, their website will end up going down and all of their readings will disappear into oblivion. So I want to ensure that we have a good archive of everything that this cult is doing, has done, will do in future. And that's part of the reason why I also think it's very important for us to stay on this, as well as the fact that allegedly there's nobody else covering this. They were like, oh, Mother God was found mummified. The story's over. On we go. And that's not the case. For those that are maybe unaware, and again, you somehow ended up here before you watched the last video on this, Love Has Won was a cult that was run by Amy Carlson. You might be familiar with it because, as you saw at the beginning of this lovely stream, they did appear on Dr. Phil several years ago. Well, not that, a few years ago. Not several. A few years ago, they were on Dr. Phil. And Amy Carlson is very obviously had experienced delusions of grandeur. She was taking a lot of drugs. The cult in itself was doing a lot of magic mushrooms. And some people think other things such as LSD and etc. They were very open about this on numerous streams where they came out and told everyone that they were taking drugs and her mental health was deteriorating. And going on Dr. Phil was kind of her family's last attempt. It was her family that kind of went on there. And they said, we want to stop our daughter from running this cult. Unfortunately, she was too far in. She's being the leader of this cult. So, of course, she's been getting all the praise. People are worshiping her. She's living in a house with a handful of people that are waiting on her hand and foot. It sounds like a good time if you're high with delusions of grandeur all out of your mind, right? She didn't want to change. Eventually, she actually ended up passing away. This was due to a mixture of two things. One of them being her intake of colloidal silver, which was questionable, and the other one being, of course, her major drug use and not eating properly. She was somebody that had claimed to suffer from anorexia in her past. And so a lot of people felt like that was still, the eating disorder was still around. She did not get help for a lot of her mental health issues, right? Because she went and ran a cult with them instead. So she had all of these issues, and it basically ended up in her just her whole body deteriorating, along with the colloidal silver, the drugs, everything. It just all caught up with her, and eventually she passed away in her bedroom, in which they then mummified her and decorated her with Christmas lights. And I'm not joking, they actually did decorate her with Christmas lights. And then they almost all got charged for fucking with her body. You get in trouble if you mess around with dead people. Okay, you cannot just move dead people around, and you have to call a coroner and the police the second that you find someone dead. You cannot keep them mummified in a bedroom. So, of course, this led to criminal charges on all the people that were in the house, and those actually all got dropped. And that's kind of when most people said, okay, cool, this story is over. However, instead, what happened is the group had what I can only describe as a weird kind of like infight moment where they split up. Half of them went off to run an occult called Joy Reigns, which I have also covered extensively here on my channel. And the other half went off to run this cult, 5D Full Disclosure. The funny thing is both of these cults are really just extensions of Love Has Won. So the readings that we're doing is kind of like things that started when Love Has Won was a cult. They wrote a lot of these belief systems, started a lot of this so-called literature, I guess you could call it, back then when they were all in the house together. And then as time has kind of gone on, as you'll see as I'm reading through, they've kind of come in and added in more to the story so that it makes sense now for their 5D Full Disclosure cult today. So it's like altered a little bit, but not too much. And this is the doctrine that they go by. Amy Carlson is seen as Mother God. She has apparently been reincarnated as many people, such as Cleopatra, and then like Gandhi. Like, it's very strange. They go back and forth on the gender thing. And at the time of her death, she was with a man named Jason Castillo, who is known as Father God, and he too has allegedly been reincarnated as everything. And he actually is the one that runs Joy Reigns. 5D Full Disclosure is run by the people that were kind of at the top of Love Has Won. So you're going to notice in future, because over the next couple weeks we're reading the book, then we're going to be looking at a video explanation of all of this. And I want you guys to kind of compare what we learned in this like reading to what they say in their stream with me. It'll be lots of fun. And then we're going to continue on deep diving it and going through a lot of their videos. And you're going to recognize a lot of them, especially if you're familiar with the Love Has Won cult. You'll say, oh yes, I remember that girl from all of those live streams where Amy would call in drunk and etc. They also painted her face with glitter. Yes, they decorated her to the nines. To the nines. It's the secret glitter. The glitter industry doesn't want you to know. They're keeping it from us. They're like, shh, don't tell them. They didn't use us on her. It was just the Christmas lights. Take it up with Santa Claus, not us, okay? She regenerates just like Doctor Who, apparently. And the reason why that's so funny now, by the way, is because it appears that she has not reincarnated as of yet. So she was found a few years ago, mummified in a bedroom. You would think that by now she would have reincarnated into a new person. But we haven't heard. And I just find it funny that they have all these stories of her reincarnation. And then once it is public that this woman, Amy Carlson, has passed away, is she just not reincarnating anymore? I mean, what happened? Shouldn't she be technically already reborn into a new, like, prophecy somewhere? I'm just wondering. So I'm going to stop blabbing and we're just going to get into it. It's a very fun read. I do have the link down in the description. Down in my description right now is actually several links. There is a link to an amazing channel that actually put together the intro today. I usually do my own, but I've been busy this week. So thank you to them. Please go and give them a sub. And then there is also a link for the document we're reading, the Ascension Guide. And so you can follow along with me if you want. And then there are also several links to go to if you or someone you know is stuck in a cult. These are the links that you should go visit to get your information on how to leave or how to help someone else leave. There are lots of resources out there. Please do use them. It is not safe to leave a cult just on your own. It is very much like leaving an abusive relationship. In fact, an escape plan is often done much like when you're leaving an abusive relationship. You can even call the National Domestic Abuse Hotline for help to leave a cult because they have experience helping people leave abusive relationships, and they literally just apply almost the exact same escape plan to this situation. It is that serious. The biggest time that someone in a relationship passes away is when they're leaving an abusive relationship. It is no different for leaving a cult. There have been many people that have gone missing from many different cults. Scientology being a big one. Many of those people went missing upon trying to leave the cult. It's a big thing. So please do be safe. Please reach out to resources. Reach out to local counseling agencies in your area before you just go and leave. I do not want anything happening to anyone. Some of you may think, well, this cult was online. How can somebody hurt you online? You just turn off the computer. Yes, you can just turn off the computer to get away from most things. Online bullying, you get mean comments, get off the computer. They don't get at you no more. When it comes to something like Scientology or any other cult out there, really, like even this one, when you're leaving it, it's a completely different thing. And they will go in real life with you. When you leave dangerous communities, they go in real life with you. So please do be careful when you're leaving large groups of people. That is the main message on my channel. Make sure you are safe and that you get resources. All right, enough blabbing on, Queen. Let's get to the amazing reading. The amazing reading of this fabulous, amazing book. Do we call it a book? Why is it not showing up for me? Hold on. It's not showing my page. Share screen. Yes. Share. But it doesn't want to share. Why don't you want to share screen? We might have to do it like this today if it's going to be a bastard. All right. A short story? I wish it was short. It's not short, though. Unfortunately, it is just not short. I really do want it to show up, though, and I want to know why it's not showing up on here when I share it. It's very bizarre. It is very, very bizarre. Hello. Okay, that one's black. That one doesn't go black, but it doesn't show up. That is so bizarre. Alright, one sec. I got one more thing I can try. And then if that doesn't work, then we're going to have to do it with the fingers. All right, let me see here. Let me see here. All right, let's try this. Share screen. All right, does this work? Excuse me. Let me see. Does this work? Let's see. I feel like that's better because then I can actually make it so that you guys can see it better. There we go. I think that's the best way to do this. We just need to scroll all the way down now. We are on page, it's 26, chapter 7. Oh my god, remember we had to go through all of those? That's nuts. I'm just going to do this. Why didn't I just do that from the beginning? Okay, here we are. Here we are. We can actually see it. Can I make it bigger for you? I wonder. I want you to be able to see the words you see. If you can see the words, then that is bigger. Oh, yes, there it is. Aha! There we go. Sorry. Sometimes it likes to work, sometimes it doesn't like to work. I do not run StreamYards. So, let's get right into this lovely, lovely reading, shall we? I feel like we need music as usual. I like to set the mood, you know? So, chapter 7, the 144,000. The creator gods are God with God. Okay? These are God, children of creation. All who are incarnated on the planet are creator gods who agreed to come in and weave a reality that mirrored their vibration. Those who had the greatest capacity to weave love and light came here. This is the 144,000, the ascended masters, the Elohim, the Chohan, and many, many other warriors of the light. The oldest soul family in all of creation are the 144,000. These beings have the blueprint of love and the unknown etched onto their hearts, and the dysfunction on Earth was guaranteed to be enough of a motivation to ensure they kept searching until truth was found. As with ascending other planets, these beings can feel love in their heart. As evolution and ascension occurs, the 144,000 transform chaotic and unorganized matter back into an expression of love, in flow and balance with all of creation. It sounds nice. By Mother of all creation. I think this is a subcategory in the chapter. Breaking into pieces, you stand with whatever is left, the very core of who you are, the diamond, the filling, the true being of light and love. Although, you may feel alone as the process unfolds, breaking the mind down. It begins falling away because love is present and it recognizes the illusion and starts taking with it everything you thought you were and leads you to the heart of the being. Feelings rush in as the true being emerges out of the seemingly destruction of a mind in a box. I feel like that sentence made no sense. Leaving you with the reconstruction to forge ahead in all its grandness into divine intelligence, into paradise, heaven on earth, with a capital E and A. The mind which projects outside and has low vibrational thoughts, and therefore cannot exist in the upper realms of true reality, which is 100 times grander than fantasy or fiction, dissolves so that the divine being can raise up into the true divinity from within and begin once again feeling instead of thinking. Well, facts don't care about your feelings, 5D, damn it! Taking the true being into a collective consciousness, a God consciousness. Only the mind thinks, as in projects outside, and the heart feels from the inside, where God is there within. For if God were to hide anywhere, would he or she not be within the heart? Good question, I guess. Diamonds have beauty and elegance. They shine bright like a diamond, and each facet holds its own uniqueness. Each of us have a beautiful diamond inside, waiting to shine on the planet. We each are the miracle, the magic, and each parts of this whole magnificent design. As we fall apart to be put together again, sounds fine, so we stand together as one. We then assume our roles in the divine truth of our existence, which has no limits, boundaries, or edges. We arise as a whole beautiful diamond, just like the sun. The sun is now a diamond, don't tell Cece. The grandness of just being then outshines, and true love fills all the space, all the gaps of being present in the light, and cannot be denied. The natural state of the sun is brilliance, and the sun's brilliance. The state of the sun is brilliance, and it also has brilliance, if you were wondering, is always in the present moment as it shines, because it is being true to itself what the sun is. Being true to oneself is the love within and pouring it outwards, living inside out, and then outside back into love of all creation. Love everywhere present. Falling away. The old gets released back into creation, and then grace is given as each light stands as a pillar of truth. When we go deep inside, we discover the diamond of ourselves, this magical miracle of being present, shining bright. We forge ahead, displaying our brilliant lights forth into a new story of love forever after as one and uniquely expressed within the new earth. Longest fucking sentence ever. The kingdom of heaven, the Eden in which together we will co-create in the divine. So at least we found out in this one that allegedly the sun is a being. I bet you didn't know that until just now. Hello, Ken doll. Good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. My 5D feelings are shook. Right? The sun isn't real. Ask any sane flat earther. There's no such thing. I cannot find one. Not one. The Joe's like, you do actually, Joe. You do write fanfic better than this. I threaten people with your fanfictions. I'm like, don't come for me, you know. Joe will write a fanfic about us. You won't like it. I'm about to make videos out of all of them. You're not going to like it. I think they're funny, but nobody else will. So, this one was very strange. You think that you're going to hear about the, 144,000, which, I mean, they brought it up, but it really wasn't about them that much, was it? I mean, apart from being so they're the original and they're the ones that are going to be saved, pretty much. That's what they're saying, right? They don't really talk about it all that much. it seems to be more about, again, this discussion of love and love being all creation and how you have to live your truth and shine bright like a diamond. Like Carly would say, you know, maybe she's just following this religion and that's the real problem. And I feel like a lot of this almost like foreshadows to be like, don't listen to outsiders who just don't believe in this. They're just not saved. Like, you're all saved by being here in this cult. They don't know the truth. We're the ones that know the truth here. Listen to us and our truth. The 144K argument. Yes, it's among all religions, I hear. Many of the ones I've looked into tend to have this 144,000 thing. So it's funny to me that this became more about how you need to open yourself up to love and how your heart is love and your being is love. Just all about love again. Because love and light stands as a pillar of the truth, I guess. I hate the formatting of this book because this is it. So, chapter 8, the brain, should be down a page. But it's not. It's not. It's like in the middle. See this? Page break. No, I don't want to add text. Page break. Why is it like this? I hate it. Now I feel like I'm reading on passive. They're very angry at me, by the way, for doing this. I've had several of them come and comment to me. They're like, your truth is your truth. This is our truth. And I'm like, okay. Jehovah's Witnesses have that rule too, April says. Yes. It's from the Bible, the Christians. Only thing is the population is way higher than when it was written. Yes. So, again, we have to start this chapter on a new page, which makes no sense for how the formatting of this book is. When they're not making any sense with their words, they're just fucking up the format, the grammar, and sometimes the spelling. Which, imagine though, if you guys got the Bible, would you still follow it as Christians out there? If you brought it home, opened it up, and there was like grammatical and spelling errors and the formatting was all wonky, I feel like most Christians would have been like, yeah, no, this isn't it. But when it comes to other types of cults, like especially commercial cults for some reason, things like on passive and a lot of these other like coaching weird culty things out here, they tend to not care about spelling and grammar and proper formatting or having anything make any sense. And they're like, yeah, no, this will be fine. People will totally follow this. It'll be great. And they're right. People do totally follow it. And I don't understand. So, of course, this is no different. So, chapter 8, the brain. In order for the cabal, in case you forgot, because it's not written on this page like it should be, you know. In order for the cabal to keep humanity in the programming, remember the cabal is like Satan and his demons, which is basically anyone not in this cult. They had to dumb them down to the point they would be ignorant, yet willing participants in their own enslavement. The brain was the primary organ targeted. Like, no shit. Who knew they used the brain for manipulation? Weird. We use around 10% of our brains. This is not normal. No animal uses 10% of an organ. We should be using our entire brain. And this is the main way in which humanity has been enslaved and kept in a very basic function based in logic, survival, and lack, entirely omitting the divinely intelligent half of the brain that enables us to have instant manifestation capacity in the present moment of now. So think about what that is alluding to. That is claiming that your brain, you're only using 10%. So somewhere in the other 90% of our brains is allegedly an area where manifestation and the law of attraction come into fruition just with thoughts. So based on this logic, and if you look into the hustle culture that I often cover here on my channel as well, that means that they're stating that a part of your brain somewhere in your head there can say, I manifest right now, this very second, that I am a fucking millionaire, surrounded in money, so much money, it is taking up all of my house. I cannot hardly move in it. There's so much money. And then all of a sudden, poof, my house is meant to fill up with money. Of course, that didn't happen right now because I'm one of those weird demon people that are only using 10% of our brains. That's not in the cult. But apparently, they would have the ability to do that based on this paragraph. That's technically what they're claiming here. And I'm like, I don't even think that's how the law of attraction fucking works. You know, the 10% is a myth. It is. It actually is. It's been debunked over and over again, but I still hear it all the time. It's so funny because it actually pops up on Google, like literally right away. Let's just take a moment and go check that out, just because it seems like people want to. So, just in Google, I'm not even going to click on anything. I literally just Googled, do we use 10% of our brain? And the very first thing that pops up says, the idea that we only use 10% of our brain is a myth and it's completely untrue. Brain scans have proven that we use all of our brain for most activities. The entire brain volume is completely utilized, and most of the brain is active almost all the time. And if you are someone like me, your brain is overly active at all times, and you wish sometimes it would stop. It's literally like the easiest thing to look up and find. Like, there's a bazillion things about how it's false. Somebody just kind of like said that in psychology like many, many moons ago, before we had real science that actually studied neurophysiology, right? And they were like, people only use like 10% of their, and then it just stuck. And it became a thing, I swear. That's like how it came a thing. And now everyone's like, that's not actually a fucking thing, okay? I am not okay with this. I am not okay with this. I am not okay with this account being made, and I'm not okay with this account being in my chat. You are about to be blocked. Although other people in this community think it is really, really great to open up a bazillion accounts making fun of someone, as someone that's had that happen to me to the point where people have been in fake accounts of me all week, writing to people and allegedly flipping out on a bunch of people I didn't even think about, I just don't appreciate it. I just don't. I've never once called Sam crazy. And just because I may change my opinion on someone does not mean that I myself am okay with people dogpiling them, that I myself am okay with people doing all of that kind of stuff. Do not do that stuff over here. There was a warning at the beginning of this stream, a disclaimer that told you that if you did that, you would be in big trouble. Big trouble. And there you are in big trouble. See what happens? See what happens? I'm not dealing with the pushback from that because I'm going to have 20 people now stream today that I have a fake Sam account in my chat during a stream that has nothing to do with that. Because you people can't not have me talk about you for this long. I've barely spoken about you all week, and you're all itching like crack addicts. Like, oh my god, we need her to write 500 fucking community posts and do like 10 streams on us. Oh my god, why isn't she doing it? Why isn't she doing it? You got some queen? You got some queen? And I don't care enough. I really do not care enough. I've never cared. I've had to fake caring this long already, and I cannot continuously fake care about this. I really can't. Okay. I really can't. I'm just saying. So, now that we've debunked the 10% of the brain thing, maybe now it will be more fun as we go through this, because pretty much this whole thing is based on that. Which is why I was like, let's go look it up quick, because yeah, I agree. That would actually be kind of funny to do right now. Because that's what this whole chapter is basically based on, the fact that people only use 10% of their brains, so now they're trying to use that to claim that that's like some brainwashing that happened to us way back in the day, you know? The demons, right? Made it, Satan and the demons came and made it so that we were all brainwashed and could only use 10% of our brains. And then they, of course, go into why it's important that we use more of our brains, which we can only do in this cult, allegedly. Of course, as all the cults will say, right? So, it is important to understand that the brain is not the mind. It's not really that important here, but they claim it is. So your brain is an organ, they say, and the mind they define as a lower consciousness illusionary program based in belief systems that was programmed into humanity from birth. And they do yell this at us and all. So you're like, okay, cool. I guess you can define it like that if you want to. Then they claim that the brain and the heart together equals divine intelligence. And again with the formatting, driving me nuts here, by the way. This is not how you do this. Especially in like a so-called book or pamphlet or whatever. Mother and father are bringing all of creation back into balance, capital B, capital C, functioning in divine intelligence. This is occurring organically, and every human vessel is being affected. But you have to allow these upgrades. You have to dissolve your mind and do your ascension work. Yeah, there's work in this, homework. Through surrendering the mind and the thought system, surrendering. Divine intelligence will reawaken and resume. Nothing to me says slavery like having to surrender your mind. But anyway, if you are not doing this, your body will be in resistance. Illness, pain, and suffering will form. And indeed, this is how illness, pain, and suffering does form. Those omitting their brain/heart function experience aneurysms, hemorrhages, Alzheimer's. Apparently that's what causes Alzheimer's, etc. I guess we're just supposed to guess the rest. All brain disorders stem from this imbalance in usage, and those conditions will occur as part of the cleansing of lower consciousness, which is the mind. The ego programmed mind prevents and blocks our natural state of balanced harmonics. The balance of the divine feminine and masculine, yin and yang, and pulls us into dysfunction. The areas of the brain that light up and activate during a spiritual experience, which they don't tell you which ones those are here at all, by the way, are the exact same areas that light up and are activated when we are in addictive behavior, such as sex and gambling. Funny, coming from the Love Has Won cult that had like orgies every day in their house. This shows that those who are greatly lacking a self-sustained source connection, a connection with Great Spirit, Mother God, Prime Creator, will enter into dysfunction in order to have these needs met temporarily. If you allow God in and heal yourself and the brain back to 100%, you will enter into divine function, conversing with all of creation. This is true reality oneness. Sorry, I felt like it needed a clap there. The true way of processing information is from the heart to the brain and back again 3 times. Very specific, 3 times. The mental ego programmed mind has disconnected these functions for thousands of years, and information we feel gets hijacked by the thought system that manipulates that information to cause suffering. As the brain-heart true processing function comes back online, you will lose duality. You will no longer view anything through false constructs of right and wrong, and this will apply to everything that transpires around you. When you feel you are right and are in a state of righteousness, you are almost always up against another being who feels they are right. How can this be? It isn't. This is a separation that plagues humanity, that limits and enslaves and results in very poor brain usage. Again, that 10%. As you quieten the mind and begin to dissolve the programming that rules it, the voice of the divine spirit and boundless knowing beings begins coming through, which is your true essence. We are one, and you too are God. The feeling of this energy coursing through you is the experience of heaven. Doubt and lack of trust and thinking you know better are complete blocks to this function. To exist in the energies, feeling and connecting must replace thinking. All of the information and knowing we seek is contained in the etheric space of feeling. Feeling into it, and then the wisdom bursts in. This occurs in the most magical ways. The mind is designed to do everything to prevent our organic function, and dissolving it is a process that takes complete dedication, consistency, patience, strength, perseverance, dissolving all the lower frequency existing within you is the only way to ensure you arise in alignment. All those who do not engage in returning to our true essence will experience a mind in overdrive. Yeah, a mind in overdrive, but you only use 10% of it, but it's somehow going to be in overdrive. A reduce in all functioning as you slip further and further under the waves of suffering caused by the mind. Nature is limitless. It never dies, and neither do we, because you get reincarnated 500 times allegedly. The mind causes all pain and suffering, as all pain and suffering is energetic imbalances held within the body. The body is your guidance system. Any place in the body that you experience heaviness, pressure, pain, or discomfort is where you are holding trauma. I'm like, I know, that's just me though. That's just people like me with a trauma disorder. Nobody else is like that, okay? The nose represents unconditional love blocks. So blow your damn nose. Cats and dogs vibrate at the frequency of unconditional love. And people who have allergies and must keep proximity from cats and dogs are so imbalanced in unconditional love that these animals trigger them. As someone that's allergic to cats, can I just say a big old fuck you? A big old fuck you to the 5D full disclosure people. We love orgies here at Tiny Digger Condoms. Trademarked. It's almost time for an ad break. 10 minutes and then we will have one. I'm not really an orgy guy, but sex and gambling are a good time. You can't have a good cult without an orgy, Joe says. So, allegedly, if you are allergic to cats and dogs, that is actually because you are imbalanced in unconditional love. Yeah, you just don't have any unconditional love in your life. I'm a mom and a wife, but, you know, I'm allergic to cats, so I can't have unconditional love, apparently. Excuse me, due to my cat allergy. Like, thank you. Because we can control that. The same is true of plants and the resulting hay fever. Plants, indeed. All of nature is living in perfect harmony, in divine alignment. And anyone triggered by that and experiencing any reactions like allergies is living out of alignment with divine balance. 5D full disclosure can cure your allergies. The entire medical system and the creation of disease is a lie. Everything is vibration. And all pharmaceuticals have been weaponized. All vaccinations disturb and prevent the full use of the brain. We have been enslaved, controlled, and kept within a life, that death cycle, by lower consciousness beings that have learned how to feed off humanity because they possess no capacity to connect with Mother God, as they were not created by Mother God, who created everyone, just not them, I guess, now. These aberrations and anomalies are made of the same matter as black holes. Creation is love. It is through the expression of love that a masculine and feminine create life. Fuck the LGBTQ people too. Fuck people with allergies. And fuck the LGBTQ, they're saying. Black holes are the exact opposite. They are pure fear. FEAR. Which stands for, to them, and a lot of other people for some reason, false evidence appearing real. Which is destruction. It sucks in all around and destroys. This black hole energy exists within each human vessel on Earth. And when in the thought system, we are in a black hole, just sucking our own life force, which in turn causes disease, death, ease. Okay? It's important. This ease. disease. So, that was interesting. Your wife is also allergic to cats? Well, tell her that she just can't experience unconditional love. Her unconditional love is out of balance. And allegedly, if she joins this cult, her allergies will just disappear. They'll get her back in balance. Guess I shouldn't have gotten a flu shot 2 weeks ago. I know, my daughter just got hers yesterday, too. Damn it. Ooh, they're gonna anger the LGBTQ plus people. That's a bad idea. The funny thing about this Love as One cult is they very much ran with a hippie-like way of thinking when it came to sex. I've brought up the fact that they've kind of had orgies, and they did. Sex was had in that house among kind of like everybody. Mother God got to take her pick on who she would sleep with. There were threesomes on numerous occasions between she, Jason Castillo, and one of the other women in the house. Like this has been reported on. So it's interesting to me, right, that this cult has this idea that a man and a woman, or who procreates. So it should only be men and women together and no gays should exist. But, when Mother God wants to lick some pussy, that's absolutely fine. Bring in the girl. Let's have a threesome. It's like, what world do you live in where you think you can be against the LGBTQ community while taking part in, like, lesbian activities and even gay activities? Jason Castillo is pretty much bisexual. So it's like, what are you doing? Okay, are you against them or are you one of them? Pick it. Pick one. And a lot of the cults do this. You'll see this like all the time in cults where it will be like a lot of sex stuff. And in most cases, in a lot of these cults, the gender doesn't matter. It's just like free sex with each other, But then they're like a bigot. And I'm like, you can't be a bigot when you're literally also taking part in the activities that you claim are going against this God you have, right? It's like, well, if other people aren't allowed to lick pussy, how come Amy over here seems to think that she can do it whenever she feels like it? How is that fair? What kind of bullshit is that? And it's all over the place in these cults. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, pick a side. You're either against it or you enjoy it and you take part in it, which is absolutely fine. But if you're enjoying it and taking part in it when the lights are out at nighttime and it's you and your cult together doing an orgy, don't then turn around and write some fucking doctrine that is all like, the only thing that's pure is when a man and woman are together and fuck the gays, Because that just confuses me. It makes me go, well, that makes no sense. I'm sorry. Yeah, they had like lots of threesomes and free love. And Amy would kind of like be like, yeah, me and Jason Castillo, we want to have a threesome. We're going to grab you. All right, into the bedroom we go. And it would happen like that. And they were told that was their way of like really finding pure true love, right? There was some sexual abuse here because in all cases with a cult, when somebody has a position of power over other people, and sexual activity is going on, it doesn't matter that the people are the same age. It doesn't matter if the people may have seemed to have consented at the time. Because of that automatic power imbalance that happens with the cult leader, and like in the Love as One case, it would have been Amy and Jason as the leaders, right? Anything that they then do with any of the members is considered abuse. That it is considered that none of the members can technically consent because of the power imbalance. A lot of people forget this, and they'll go, well, what does it matter if they had orgies in their compound? All right, they're all consenting adults. And I'm like, you don't understand how this works and how this power dynamic works and how a cult leader, whether it's a man or a woman, because that shouldn't matter, should it? And it does, allegedly, but it shouldn't. If they come out and they say, I want to have sex with you, and they pick someone in their cult, that person cannot really be like, I don't want to do this. They don't have the choice. Therefore, it's non-consensual. Even if in that moment they may seem like it's consensual, still technically it's not. So there was a lot of that going on. But as I've often brought up here on my channel, for some reason, when a male cult leader, right, has sex with lots of people or children, the whole world has a mental breakdown over it, as they should. But when a female cult leader does the same thing, people just want to know, is she hot? Same with the female teacher. Oh, well, is she hot? It's every young student's dream to fuck his teacher, and that's toxic masculinity. That's what toxic masculinity is. And technically, that did go on here in this house. Like, Amy and Jason would do, like, sexual things with their other cult members. And they were told that they were, like, rituals to get close to Amy, of course. Because she is Mother God, mother of all creation. And the closest way that a lot of these cult leaders say that you can get closest to God is by fucking them. Like, almost all of them do this. It's ridiculous. Even Keith Raniere did this in Nexia, where it was like, I'm going to choose a group of women that I'm going to basically sexually assault all the time. They're going to think they're joining a secret club and that they're all special, and then I'm just going to go and do this to them. So there is no consenting, but they did it often. Often. So they're doing that, and then they're out here saying, but we're also against the LGBTQ community. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't do both. You have to pick one. I think right now would be a good time just to take a little break. So got a few minutes to get a drink, get a snack, go to the bathroom, or just laugh at the ads if you want. And we'll be right back after a message from our sponsors.
How do you know if your problems are the result of bad life choices or demons? And what do you do if your problem is demons? My 200-page book, Dealing with Demons, has answers for questions most are afraid to ask. Can Christians be demon-possessed? How can I know what's natural and what's supernatural? Dealing with Demons will teach you how to recognize symptoms that the devil is at work in your life or the life of someone that you care about. Learn strategies to avoid Satan's traps and walk in freedom and supernatural protection. Read Dealing with Demons and be one step closer to living in spiritual victory.
Wait, do you have a condom? You don't have one somewhere? Yes. Oi, excuse me there, sir. Do you have these directions? Sure, you just go down that way and make a turn. Don't let her know that your dinger is almost a no-go. Get Tiny Dinger condoms to you discreetly. It's very important to choose the right size, so make sure that you get your tiny size. Don't be caught without a condom. No, no, no. Get Tiny Dinger condoms, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand. Located at your local CVS pharmacy, Rexall, Shopper, Drug Smart, Walmart, and in your favorite streamer's nightstand. Are you someone who worships our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? Do you believe women owe you what the Virgin Mary refused to give up? Is your life meaningless unless you can experience the touch of a woman, but not just any woman, a true Stacy? Are you tired of gym maxing? Well, we have the perfect solution for you, Giga Chad. Brought to you by the same people who brought you Tiny Digger condoms, trademarked, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand. We now offer sexual endorphin spray to help attract the perfect Stacy. With just a few squirts. No, don't squirt that! Sorry. Today's content is brought to you by Sexual Endorphin Spray, trademarked. Just spray yourself with this fabulous fragrance, and the women won't be able to keep themselves off you.
I use a sexual endorphin spray to attract this dumb hoe. She hasn't left my kitchen or my bedroom since, know what I'm saying?
Shit smells amazeballs. The fragrance is cool too. It smelled so good, even Grandma loved it. And me. A little too much, actually. You can even use it at church, guys. The nuns wouldn't stop grabbing at me. Neither did the pastor's wife. Women will love the scent, guaranteed. He smells so good. I just want to rip off all of his clothes and then just take my tongue and then... Okay then, amen. Grab a bottle for yourself today, along with a box of Tiny Dinger condoms, trademarked, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand, and you'll be posting shorts on YouTube called From Incel to Giga Chad in no time. Sexual Endorphin Spray, trademarked. Be a Giga Chad right away and spray to get your dream Stacy today. Located at... Yeah, we get it. You're into feet, and not many girls are also into feet, but you finally found your dream woman. We got your souls covered now. Brought to you by the same people who brought to you Tiny Dinger condoms, trademarked, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand, and the same people who brought to you Sexual Endorphin Spray, trademarked. We have now created the Foot Fetish Fantasia Spray. When you're rubbing on her toes, take a deep breath in and smell the sweet aromas of the toilet bowl, the tire shop, dead flowers, and your nana's perfume. After all, it will turn you on more than just her pinky toe will.
Effectively eliminates odor-causing bacteria that causes smelly feet. An easy-to-use spray bottle and targeted application. Spray your feet lightly and allow 3 to 4 seconds for it to dry.
This little piggy has been to the market and grabbed themselves a bottle of the Foot Fetish Fantasia Spray, trademarked. It made it so much easier to wank to my ex-girlfriend's feet after she posted up her beach trip vacay photos. Shh! She has a restraining order against me, so don't tell her that I'm stalking her Insta. Grab your bottle now and make that nasty foot fragrance vanish just like a ghost. Located at CVS Pharmacy, Shoppers Drug Mart, Rexall, Walmart, Kmart, Chad's R Us, and in your favorite foot fetishist nightstand. Now, back to our original programming. Like I had already stated, we're on Chapter 9, Consciousness. For those that are wondering and weren't here for the last one, there are 20 chapters. So we are about halfway done. I am hoping to have the reading done in 4 streams, because if I do it in any less, I think you'll all lose your minds. And then we are going to actually hear them discuss it and explain it to us in a live stream that they did. That's about 45 minutes long. So then that will be its own stream. Just letting you know how I plan on covering this going forward, so that you are aware. Chapter 9, Consciousness. consciousness is awareness. Like, no shit, right? From the 5 senses: taste, touch, sound, smell, and sight. Humanity perceives around 5 to 6% of the energy within existence. Science calls this other 94% dark matter. This is actually heaven. The dark matter? Thought they were going to say that was hell. Anyway, the etheric and the space where the entire rest of creation exists. Their naming of it as dark matter was another attempt to taint the light. Oh, see, they explained it there. I see. I see. Sounds like bullshit, but sure. As humanity increased, their energetic perception, which is achieved through evolving consciousness, which means choosing life-enhancing vibration and dissolving life-draining vibration, their energetic perception increases. Unconsciousness, which means unawareness, in case you weren't aware, I'll see myself out, is what makes up darkness. In that sense, darkness is not scary so much as it ignorant. That's a sentence. Mother has always said that awareness transforms into consciousness. Even though consciousness is awareness, but just don't mind that for now. This is increasing your energetic perception by raising your conscious awareness. Don't drink every time that I say conscious awareness. You will fucking die. I don't want that on my soul. Even though it's black and dead, I prefer not to kill people with alcohol. Mother of all creation did not have the ego, which now they don't have the periods, right? This is why I just started calling it ego to begin with. The ego programmed mind, and therefore was always 100% conscious and aware. Which, if consciousness is awareness, means that they just basically said aware and aware. I like it. She could perceive 100% of all energy, which allowed her to see through the illusion since being a child. Which, I don't know if you guys actually did watch the Dr. Phil that had Amy Carlson on. I keep trying to say this because I really don't want what she's done to fall back on her family. Her family were very, very normal, upper middle class people that raised other children that ended up very successful. Her parents did not believe in any of this sort of hoopla. I believe they were devout Christians, like very Christian, but not like extremist or anything. Like, just normal upper middle class Christians, had careers. There was like a little bit of regular family trauma in her life. But in comparison to the rest of her family, she's a complete loon. And they spoke out stating that, like, throughout her childhood and all that, she was pretty normal. Like, she had usual, like, teenage angst, and it's some things where they were like, maybe she might have a mental health issue, but it was nothing that would have ever led them to be like, oh, she's gonna run a cult one day and have, like, a couple hundred followers and then end up mummified in her bed with Christmas lights. You know what I mean? Like, so when she talks about having these, like, because these people are writing this based on what she's told them, right? She's told them that this is how the world is. So now they're writing this based on that. So she says, I've experienced all of this stuff since childhood. her whole childhood growing up, she allegedly never had any of that weird sort of behavior. Like, she was a normal little girl. There was no, like, oh, she might be psychic or, like, any weirdness. So when she says things like that, her family is like, we don't know what the hell she's talking about. Like, that was not a thing when she was a kid. I don't know why she's saying that she's, like, experienced this stuff. You know, like, they would tell you that you wouldn't have known this when she was a kid. So it's always interesting to me whenever she brings up how she's had these experiences since she was a kid, or she found out when she was a kid, because I'm like, she didn't really lose her mind until her late teens, early 20s, really. And even then, that's a bit questionable. She went on, she had a normal life, she had a family, and then one day she just upped out of nowhere. She had like a mental breakdown and just left her family to go start this cult. And like, it was almost out of nowhere. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there wasn't a whole bunch of stuff that would lead up to them thinking anything. So, like, this wasn't a thing when she was a kid. She had like her mental breakdown when she was in her adult life, which led her to then go into leading this cult, having her delusions of grandeur, and then like making up all of this weird stuff from when she was a kid. I just wanted to be known because her family doesn't deserve her speaking crap on them. So sometimes with the way that things are put, it does almost like she's throwing shade at them in a way. Not spade, full on shade at them. And I don't find that fair. Because they're completely normal, successful, decent people that were not, like, they did not support her doing this. So, if they had seen signs of this in her childhood, it is my belief they would have done whatever they could to stop this from happening. And that's why it kind of upsets me. Because I'm like, I feel like she's selling her family short. Her parents did, like, her family did seem pretty fucking decent in comparison. Okay, so, leave your family alone, Amy. Stop trying to pull things back to when you were a kid and shit. Please leave your childhood out of this. Dead, mummified, and painted with glitter. # life goals, right? Like, nobody says that. I would hope. Maybe Asha Mufara might like that in the future. Who knows? But then you would have to be like nuts, and that's what I mean. There was a very specific time in her adult life that they can kind of say this is when she had a mental breakdown, and it was when she basically like had some kids, and I think she might have had some postpartum depression, and that might have, along with other mental health issues, that might have been kind of dormant but still present at the time. And then everything kind of comes out, it sounds like that's more what happened. And then that kind of gave her a mental breakdown, and she just kind of up and left one day. And it was very bizarre. So since it was so bizarre, that leads me to believe that when she was a kid, she really wasn't having any like weird experiences where, some kids that maybe end up psychic or doing this later on in life, their parents can say, yeah, when they were 10 years old, they were saying this and doing this. So, that doesn't surprise us. That's not the case here. Her parents are like, we have no clue where the fuck, like, just one day she was just gone. Like, she just didn't want to be her anymore. And it was like she woke up and was like, I'm a fucking god. And then went and ran a cult. Like, it's fucking weird. So, this is why, speaking the truth, as I pointed out, Amy also had trouble doing, and bringing this to humanity is so crucial to the Ascension process. 99% of humanity lives in darkness / unconsciousness because they are unaware of what has truly been going on the planet. Remember that unaware and unconsciousness, again, to them are the same thing. Just makes me laugh. This is why the dark, with a capital D, have gone to such great lengths to punish, mock, and censor anyone speaking truth, which is what I'm now being accused of, by the way. If you wanted to see where me and this cult were sitting, the CIA, it doesn't help that I have a lot of I look like the devil on purpose. That doesn't help me, I don't think. The CIA was the first to coin the term conspiracy theory in an attempt to program the collective into bypassing real truth and calling it a conspiracy. So now you're like, well, that's dangerous to do, is just claim that all conspiracy theories are actually true. Let's not do that. But anyway, the truth is that for thousands of years, higher consciousness information was censored by the dark to prevent humanity from awakening, as awakening would raise the level of consciousness and vibration of the planet, preventing the dark from keeping power and from existing on this planet. Other planets, totally cool, just on Earth here. In ancient times, especially during the Egypt era, so now we're time traveling again. We were in present day. If you guys remember, in the last one, we jumped around a little bit. We started at the beginning of humanity, and we were going, we were coursing along. They were explaining the start of humanity to us, and they got into how the humankind was formed, because I'm Canadian, and according to Trudeau, mankind is sexist now. So now I've gotten in point of saying humankind, and I want to go jump off of my balcony. But anyway, and that was cool. And then we went into explaining kind of like other things about the Earth, and it was like, yes, this all makes sense. And then all of a sudden we were in 1994. And we did a huge fucking jump where we just time traveled right to 94. And then we went back again to the beginning. And then when we came back again, we were in like the early 2010s, I believe it was like 2012 or something. We ended up landing, and we were jumping all around. Then we ended up in present time, which would be like a few years ago when this was written, right? So, we were at today. We were in today. And then, the last few chapters we've read have all been in today. They kind of went off of explaining things to us in order and started explaining the theories, as you can hear. These last few chapters here have been more of their theories and what they believe in than how the Earth and humans and everything came to be. That was the first few, right? And now we are jumping back into the ancient times. So we're again time traveling now to the Egypt era, which I wasn't aware that was an actual era. I don't remember ever learning about the Egypt era, but maybe Canadian history's different. I don't fucking know. Stuff can add up with some people. Yeah, see, the problem with cults, and I'm actually working on a video about confirmation bias, is basically they do confirmation bias. So, if you want to believe, it's very easy to use this as proof of it being the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very easy to fall for this and be like, oh yeah, this is definitely a good explanation for that. But it's because you want to believe it. It's not because it is the truth. There's a difference. Right? Dark! Yes, dark! And now dark is a whole community. With a capital D on it. It's like a being, the dark, It's no longer a color or shade. Hello, Samian. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well as well. So yeah, now we have time traveled to the Egypt era. I don't know how long we'll be here, though. We might jump back. In ancient times, especially during the Egypt era, information was hidden and only shared through secret societies and behind closed doors. Doors in Egypt, in the Egypt era, in ancient, that's what they said. The Egypt era was one of the darkest points in history, as this is when the Cabal, Illuminati, Anunnaki rose to great power by using dark magic. Oh, it wasn't Crowley then? Later on, secret societies such as the oh, okay, there it is. Okay, I was like, when does that come? Here we are. Such as the Freemasons hoarded spiritual information in order to protect it. But it was later hijacked and used for lower purposes. Witches and warlocks were beings who could access these powers and would use them to further the Dark's control. White witches, which I think most would have a problem with, because it sounds fucking racist. It really does. I can't. I'm sorry. But I don't like the white witches thing. I just don't like it. I don't like it. And see, in this time that they're referring to here, this was, of course, back in the day when they probably would have burned witches. And the thing is that, as I said, I did a deep dive on that whole thing. Most of the time when they would call somebody a witch, it wasn't because they were actually a witch. It was because they were like an outspoken woman, for example. They did not like that back then. So if you were like outspoken, or you were a little bit quirky, or you maybe questioned religion or anything. I mean, by the way, back then it would have been the Christian religion or Catholic religion. That's what was taking over. If you had any other kind, then you were a witch. Or a warlock if you were a man. Because they also did burn some men. Not as many, but that was also a thing as well. So, again, let's just not do that. Does she weigh more than a duck? Yes, I've used that clip many times. We love Monty Python over here. Witches, don't want any problems with them. Most of the people that dislike me claim to be witches. But here's the thing, is that even like people that I've spoken to today, and I've said this before, that are so-called witches, are just people that follow like the pagan religion or spirituality, whatever you want to call it. Some people consider it a religion. Others just want it to be like more of a spirituality. However you need to define that to yourself, I feel like it is something very personal. Religion and spirituality is very personal. It's for you to define. I have no problem with people that study any or go by any religion out there. My hope in speaking out about cults is that even if, especially actually, if you believe in religions, that you won't fall for the cults in that religion, because you are their prey, more so than myself as an atheist. It's a lot harder to be an atheist and fall into a religious cult than it is to be a Christian, a pagan, a Presbyterian, a Catholic, a whatever, okay? You're the ones that they're preying on. So I speak out about these things in hopes to raise awareness to you so that you're aware that in all of the religions, by the way, and spiritualities, and even in every single thing in our world, which is part of the goal of my channel also, is to prove it's not just religions and spiritualities that have cults. You know, I concentrate a lot on commercial cults for a reason. I also talk about culty communities, just communities. Maybe they don't have anything to do with religion, but they have like cult aspects to them. So it's not just about that, but my goal is to hopefully spread awareness about those things to everyone, no matter what religion or whatever you believe in. It doesn't matter, because to me, everyone could be preyed on by a cult, whether it's a commercial cult, whether it's a religious cult, whether it's a cult of personality, which you will even see out here on the YouTubes, believe it or not. And that's kind of my whole thing, is I say, I want to talk about that because it's interesting to me that it is not just spiritualities and religions that can fall for this. I have to work them into my next fan fiction. Yeah, if I hurt people, I guess so. But that's my whole thing. So, again, in order to go down this little journey, I'm thinking that to them, white witches, whatever the fuck that means, the good witches, I guess, is like white's good, black's bad. So white witches are going to be like good magic, I guess, and then black witches will be like the crawly witches that do bad magic. But like, my whole thing is that this cult here, then, all that means is that the good witches or the good people practicing good magic are going to be the people in their cult. And then everyone else is going to be bad. So it doesn't matter. You could have been a pagan that doesn't even practice any kind of witchcraft at all. You're there for other reasons. I've met several of those as well. There's different sects of everything, okay? So let's say you're one of those. You're completely innocent. You are not about anything negative or so-called black magic at all. But to these people, you would still be considered that because you're not in 5D full disclosure and you don't want Amy Carlson as your mother god. You know what I mean? Like, there's a different definition here than the usual definition, which, as I've pointed out, even that one is sus, because it's just a lot of misogyny and bigotry that ran rampant back then, to be honest. And even some racism and stuff, so, yeah. No, he needs to shut it down for more inventory. I hear. So, white witches, or those practicing white magic, were burned alive for centuries to prevent the counterattack to the dark. Since the 50s, the CIA cabal took this consciousness manipulation a step further and developed the MK Ultra program. Yep. This one is a program that was tested on individuals using LSD and psychological torture, abuse, and brainwashing to elicit false confessions, among other things. Now I'm going to have to cover the MK Ultra program. Thanks, 5D full disclosure! It has been stated that this project was officially shut down in 1973, just prior to Mother incarnating. However, the program was actually never shut down. Ooh. Instead, it was simply taken out of the public eye and continued to operate behind closed doors. MK Ultra now operates on a massive scale, infiltrating every part of our society through government, schooling, TV, movies, journalism, and etc. It's like the satanic panic all over again. The 1975 Church Committee was a Senate hearing in which it was revealed that the CIA, FBA, NSA, and IRS was in fact contractually working with media companies of all types to feed propaganda and information to the public in order to manipulate public opinion and belief systems. Further abuses by the alphabet police, that's what they call them, the alphabet police, were discovered, such as Operation Mockingbird, in which journalists were revealed to actually be CIA operatives. The greatest crimes against humanity have been committed by the manipulation of consciousness. Consciousness became a commodity that could be bought and sold by the cabal to further their agendas. The unknowing collective has not only allowed this abuse to continue, but has participated in it. The responsibility of all of humanity to break out of the system of illusion and end the human slavery is vast. As we enter the apex of this ascension, all will have to crumble, every belief system of the human condition. The ego program is simply a cluster of belief systems and program behavior that has become so deeply ingrained that it's now programmed into the DNA. Yes, your DNA can allegedly be programmed to control your mind somehow. Breaking these generational and collective behavioral patterns ultimately breaks down the programming and the mind control. The process of this can be challenging, as every belief system we have will be tested until it is dissolved. The greatest gift you can give yourself is to surrender, let go, and embrace, accept, and allow. Yeah, I trust everyone that tells me to do that. Dissolving resistance allows higher consciousness to enter the vessel and expand you into an enlightened state. The transformation of consciousness is a daily process of being willing to look at ourselves and our own dysfunction, transforming lower habits, behaviors, and thoughts, which then changes our external reality. Leading by example allows other to also transform, as we all share consciousness. Chapter 10: Tools and Techniques. But yeah, basically in that last chapter, they were just telling you to believe in all conspiracy theories. The conspiracy theories are the truth. That's right. That's what they'd say anyway. I don't really believe it, but they're claiming that all the conspiracy theories are truth, which is dangerous, because they only list a couple of them. The rest of them we're just supposed to believe is truth. It's just dangerous. They don't really go into much detail on many others, but you learn a little bit as we go along. Now we are on to the middle of this. Yay, we made it to the middle! Woo! 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 Sorry. Okay, so chapter 10. Tools and Techniques. The Ascension is an inner journey. Your best tool is self-love. Massaging any points in your body that are sore is a huge way to release the negative energetic stored there. Yes. Make sure that you will massage your body. Just please don't. Maybe not that one, you know? Just leave that one alone for now, please. It's a huge way to release the negative energetic stored there, whilst increasing your vibration by stopping and loving yourself. Oh, I think we're going. Okay. Self-love is not distracting yourself with external things. Self-love is an internal state achieved by honoring and engaging with your own energetic state. Self-love is elevating yourself out of the lows and into the highs. Stay grounded. Racing speech. They'd hate me. Flightiness. Head floatiness. Difficulty being in the present moment. And head spins are all signs you are ungrounded and struggling to stay anchored in your body. This may happen multiple times per day, depending on the energetics of the day and your environment. If you feel disoriented, go place your bare feet on the ground and connect with Mother Earth. Use grounding tools, like smoking. Yeah, guys, smoking is one. See? Tobacco. Yeah, smoke. Ground yourself by smoking. Get lung cancer today and join our cult. That's what they say. Organic hand-rolled tobacco. Tobacco is not inherently bad. However, box cigarettes have been weaponized. All illness is a symptom of an energetic imbalance. Nothing is negative by essence. Belief systems, which are all false, merely make them appear so. Tobacco is an organic tool provided by Mother Earth that provides grounding and centeredness. Centeredness is a word now. Using organic tobacco, papers, and blessing your cigarette as the sacred tool that it is, it will provide massive benefits. Coffee. Coffee is not bad for you. Heart disease and high blood pressure is caused by energetic imbalances, as are all illnesses. Eating red meat at least once or twice a week. Animals are living in unity consciousness, in true reality. I know you thought that they'd be vegan? No. And have also volunteered to come to Earth to assist our ascension. They came here so that we could eat them to ascend. Red meat is essential to reconnect the left and right brain. Divine intelligence cannot be achieved without the animals. So fuck the vegans and vegetarians. We eat them in order to ascend, at which vibration no death can exist. Veganism is a pain-based belief system, as all pain and suffering is illusionary, part of the ego-programmed mind designed to lower vibration. Vegans are heavy in the energy signatures of judgment, thinking you know better, control, needing to be right. Staying hydrated is essential. Drinking as much water as possible so that urine is clear. I've yet to find out if they drink the urine. Golden rainbow sword. Yep, a golden rainbow sword, everyone. This tool will completely eradicate the negative thought system if used consistently. Underlined, very important. With every negative thought, the first day you use this, you may to use it 50 times. 50 plus times. Sorry, this sentence made no sense. The first day you use this, you may to use it 50 plus times. Then you will see the extent of the problem. And the next day, you will only need it 30 times. Maybe 10 times after that. Every time you experience a thought that takes away your joy, envision a golden rainbow sword taking form in your hand. And use that sword to swipe through the brain, eliminating the negative thought and slicing your brain up while you're at it. That sounds like fun. Just give yourself a fucking lobotomy, you know? Then, disengage with the thought completely. Take a deep breath, pulling all your attention, and focus back into the present moment of now while you have a scrambled brain from the sword. Bless your food. Remember, you can eat meat as long as you pray over it, I guess. And everything that you put into your vessel, including the cigarette, like they said. As long as you bless it, it's healthy for you. By putting the intention of love, joy, healing, etc. into your food and drinks, you immediately increase the frequency of your vessel and transmute any lower energies in the food or beverage. You ready? Pineal physical cleanse. 1 clove of garlic for 7 days. You may choose to soak the cloves in apple cider vinegar a day before you chop. Chop. Wait 15 minutes before eating. We recommend eating on a sandwich. Garlic is a powerful natural antibiotic. All man-made drugs, pharmaceuticals, have been weaponized. You can do the garlic cleanse whenever you feel guided to. You can ask the angels how many cloves to chop up during your cleanse. We recommend starting with 1 clove. Some people have worked their way up to 7 cloves for 7 days. Keeps you healthy. Turmeric and apple cider vinegar are powerful medicines that can be used for a variety of purposes. Fuck Big Pharma, okay? Cannabis oil cures cancer. Excuse me. Hi, excuse me, 5D. Hi, 5D, full disclosure. Beth here, Queen of Karma. This is actually an illegal medical claim. And now I have to take this and I have to go to the FDA website and the FTC website, and I have to report you for saying that cannabis oil cures cancer and many other ailments, which you then failed to list, by the way. So that was helpful. Not. Could we maybe not do illegal medical claims in our Bible for our cult? Maybe? Just not do that. The golden rainbow sword. They need to take a golden rainbow sword to this document to remove the illegal medical claim. Okay, I'm not very happy right now. At all. Right, Joe? Like 7 cloves of garlic? Like, yeah, I'll eat that up. Now, they're not wrong about the garlic. It is known as an anti-inflammatory. If you ever have an awful, root pain in a tooth, and you put a garlic clove, take a garlic clove, chop it up, or you put, garlic essential oils on it, it will feel better. It is also used in antibiotics. That's not a lie. However, will ingesting this work as a medicine? No, it won't. You're just basically just eating a lot of garlic for no reason. It won't do anything. They have to take the garlic and do lots of things to it in order to turn it into the medicine, right? They don't just take garlic and put it in a bottle and then call that medicine. It's not what they do, so it won't help. Yes, they now have the cure for cancer and many other ailments. So that's annoying. Cannabis is a higher consciousness tool that greatly assists the awakening process. Coconut oil pulling, 15 to 20 minutes per day, helps with detoxifying the organs through the mouth, teeth, and throat. We store a lot of emotional density in this area. Take 1 scoop of pure coconut oil and swish around in your mouth for 15 to 20 fucking minutes. Then spit it out. Good luck. Let me know how that goes. Additionally, 1 scoop of coconut oil per day helps detoxify the body and has been shown to cure most infections, bacteria, or illnesses when consistent. It's a lie. Talked about it a lot. Immerse yourself in a cold shower. Just do it! This resets the energy field and shocks the ego along with all of your organs in your whole body. This ascension process is journeying back. Oh, sorry, I'm yelling here. This ascension process is journeying back into balanced harmonics, frequencies of loves, and the unknown, which requires us to go into all uncomfortable places. Taking a cold shower is the epitome of discomfort. Our true divine selves do not know discomfort. Have a ceremony. Bless the water, capital W. And surrender everything to love and the unknown. As you master withstanding the discomfort of the cold shower, as you grow to be comfortable in it, know that you will master this transition. You already have. If you have a comfort zone that you are resisting letting go of, the universe will take it from you. Comfort zones are not in resonance with the unknown. To have these false comforts is to be in ego relationships, attachments to people, places or things, are products of the mind, are all facets of ego and no longer exist. So there. Sun gazing. The sun will not blind you. I beg to differ, but okay. This is a myth to stop people looking at the sun because it is one of our most powerful healing tools. The sun contains important activation codes that cause us to rise to the frequency of love. You can sun gaze at any time of day. However, your eyes will need training. As the sun enters your eyes, it helps transform density within and fucking blinds you. Start in the mornings or evenings, when it will not be as difficult. The sun is rising or setting, so it's not out in full blast. If you want to jump right in the deep end, stare at the sun, holding your eyes open, in surrender to love and the heart. Movement. The ascension is about moving energy, transmuting low false frequencies into the highest possible states. Yoga enables energy to flow through the body, flushing our energetic system out. Engage in yoga, walking, running, dancing, etc., with the highest intentions of self-love. Mother recommends 45 minutes per day of movement. Automatic writing. Something I should never fucking do. 10 to 15 minutes of automatic writing per day channeling your higher self and talking to your angels is essential for coming into embodiment. This strengthens the connection and also trains you to trust your guidance, share it, and reflect on it. Sleeping consciously. Sleeping consciously help you integrate and process while you rest, while also not taking energy by sleeping in an unconscious state. Before you go to rest, ask the angels to help you rest consciously and to wake you up when it is highest for you to be up. We are moving into no sleep, but currently, Mom recommends 3 to 5 hours per night, which is not enough at all. And one of the tools that is often used in a cult is lack of sleep. And in this house that Mother God lived in with her people, that was very common. As you can see, they're moving into no sleep. They are made to believe that they do not need sleep. They don't need it. When you're in your 5D state and you're using 100% of your brain instead of only 10%, right? You don't need sleep. Hello, Scam Chan. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope that you're doing very well today. Yeah, you missed the orgies. That would have been your favorite part. Polar bear swim on New Year's Day. See, now, there is some truth that having a cold shower every once in a while is good. Do I recommend forcing yourself into one every day until you are used to it? No. Is that a cult tactic to help brainwash you? Yes. Has it been used by such greats such as Hitler even in the past? Yes. Hitler, one of the greatest cult leaders of our time. Literally. It's supposed to break you down, you know? And now they're also saying, don't sleep. And if you do, the most you need is 3 to 5 hours. Imagine trying to function on that little sleep. It's almost like, you know what? No wonder why you need a cold fucking shower in the morning when you haven't slept at all. You need something to wake you up. And it's a good thing they say that coffee is good for you here as well, I guess. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you. Thomas says, I prefer my brain dry cleaned. Then you can be guaranteed that it's working at 100%. Crackheads can sleep standing up, and these people did a lot of drugs. So that might also be why they were able to stay up for long periods of time, not sleep, and claim it was okay. Gotta keep that in mind too, I guess, right? So yeah, lack of sleep, huge cult tactic. And yeah, even if you're at home, if you believe in this stuff and you're watching these people live stream every day telling you to believe in this and telling you to do this stuff, you can be manipulated into this cult. You will start doing these things. If you start doing these things, you will break down your entire mind and brainwash yourself as if you were living in that house with Amy Carlson and her followers. It is possible. The mirror technique. Mother recommends. Mother! Don't you love it when they... Mother! Mother recommends this be done daily for anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. So now you're spending at least a couple hours of your day on this cult, just with these rituals. Write down 20 divine traits that you wish to anchor in, and practices saying, I am, before each divine trait as you look in the mirror. This can feel very uncomfortable at first, but is a great practice to begin rewiring the brain to recognizing your own divinity and anchoring in these divine traits. How to brainwash yourself into a cult one-on-one. And it just got way worse with chapter Elvin. Chapter Elvin I guess it's supposed to be 11, energy and vibration. This will be the last one we will be reading today. Everything is energy. The entire cosmos is made up of energy, including this physical 3D reality. In this plane of density, we see things physically, but we ignore the fact that atoms of light that make up physicality are responding to our energy field in all moments. This is why the Cabal, the evil Cabal, cannot create themselves, as they are outside of the oneness of true reality and were not birthed from Source. They didn't birth themselves. Remember what that means? If you don't, check back in with part 1. They use and manipulate human consciousness so that we would unconsciously create a lower reality that they could exist in. Take a look at the beings who surround you in everyday life and look at your physical surroundings and life experiences. All of these things were manifested by you as a vibrational match to your consciousness. There is no blame. Life is not happening to you. It is always happening as reflection of you. From the second we incarnate, our soul signs a contract, agreeing to take certain human conditions and life experiences to transform in order to assist the collective consciousness. Yep, the second that you're conceived, you're signing contracts with those little semen arms of yours. What humanity fails to realize is that all of their experiences were soul contracted and or manifested by them. Humanity has been taught to complain, blame, be in victim consciousness, and continuing the pain and suffering cycle. They fail to take responsibility for their own manifestations and thus continue to incur karma and additional lessons. Now you know why I call myself Queen of Karma. Which, by the way, people seem to not understand parody and sarcasm and nuance on the used tubes. And they don't understand that I called myself Queen of Karma not because I believe in karma, but because I am often covering things that do believe in karma and use it in culty ways. 3/4 of what I do over here is a parody. Please understand that. I don't know how many times I get some idiot in my comment section going, you know, you claim to be atheist, but your name on here is Queen of Karma, and technically, karma has to do with spiritual belief systems, so you can't be atheist if you believe in karma. And I am like, when I tell you that I am the most feared troll on the internet, do you think I actually think I am? Are you this slow that you do not understand why my name would be something like that? There's also a million play on words that I can use with it, so I like it a lot. Of course you're an atheist. I grew up very, very Catholic, to the point where in my home we could not watch The Simpsons because it was an evil show. Okay? And the Beatles was hard rock music. My atheism doesn't have a thing to do with how I cover this, though. Okay? This is full on bull hooey, to the point where this document not only is wrong in saying things like people only use 10% of their brain, right? Okay? But they even claim that cannabis oil can cure cancer and other ailments, and so can garlic, and have illegal medical claims, right? You know? I have been a part of several different religions and spiritualities in my life, and did not grow up and have not always been atheist. So you can claim all you want that I don't have any understanding of spirituality whatsoever. But as someone that grew up completely Catholic, worked at a Christian church camp, and then went on to have about 10 different New Age spiritualities all in myself in my young 20s, to the point where people even find this stuff today to try to use it against me, okay? It means I can understand it. You do not have to be experiencing something in order to have an understanding of it either. And those who are extremists, like yourself in your spirituality and your religion, that seem to think that atheists can't have an understanding of what religion or spirituality is, you're dead wrong, because most atheists grew up with a very devout religion, which is partially how they ended up being atheists. You know? First of all, the reason they charge for sessions is because of energy exchange. Entitled people don't get to talk to God. Entitled people are people that would charge people for a fucking session to be able to talk to God. How entitled are you that you actually think that you are so special on this earth that you have the doorway to be able to charge money for other people who believe in God to talk to God? Who the fuck are you? Who are you? When the fuck did Jesus return to this earth and grant you or anyone in this religion or spirituality the right to be the doorway for everyone to talk to God? Catholics and Christians believe they talk to God every single time they pray, and they don't got to pay a cent for that. So why the hell should they now come to you and hand your dumbass money because you want to use faith manipulation to make a quick buck on vulnerable people to come and talk to God? Who the fuck are you? I don't remember that part in the Bible. I don't remember the part where God came back down to earth and said, these fucking crazy ass motherfuckers over here that claim that they can cure cancer and that the law of attraction is real and that mummified some bitch in her bed and decorated her with Christmas lights, they're the ones that are going to decide who gets to talk to God out here in the world. I don't remember that. I don't gotta be a Christian to know stupidity in religion when I see it. I don't I want you to explain to me why you are that entitled. You want to come over here and talk about other people being entitled? And then you want to actually drop on us that you think you have the right to charge money for people to talk to God through you? I've never experienced a more entitled person in all my fucking life as you. Are you really that dumb? You're not using 100% of your brain right now, Shadris. I think you gotta start using that 100% of your brain. If Mother God was here right now, she would not want you to be the one telling people that they could talk to God. You can't even use 100% of your brain. You just said one of the dumbest things that I've ever seen. You literally contradicted yourself in the same fucking comment here. Oh, now you're walking it back? Are you walking it back now? So then we don't need to pay you for sessions then, right? Because entitled people don't get to talk to God. You're now walking it back and saying, oh no, anyone can talk to God anytime? All right, good to know. I'm glad that this talk made you change your stance. Because I'm gonna be damned if some idiot on YouTube all of a sudden becomes the person that is the gateway for everyone to talk to God. Whether I believe in God or not. And again, why are you the entitled person that claims that you provide and have this equal energy yourself when you're obviously not even using 100% of your brain, which this document states you would need to be using in order to even be that person? So why are you here in my comment section lying? Why are you pretending to be important in this cult when you're not? Right, like payment moves you to the top of the list. You know? We have to pay for sessions in order to be able to talk to God. You know? When the all-knowing God has regrets. Right? You talk to them through your heart. But if you want to speak to them physically, which God is not a physical being, it has never been a physical being in any spirituality or religion. God is not usually a physical being. So if you want to speak to them physically, you must actually die. That's the only way. Not pay you, whoever the fuck you are, to do some session to be the gateway to speak to God. The only people that, you know what entitlement means? How you come in here and talk about entitlement when you don't even know the definition? You know? Thomas says, I don't claim to know the answers, but I will talk about my faith when asked. Unless that happens, I keep my relationship with God personal. And I'll be damned if you're going to have to start paying some asshat over here to talk to that God. Okay? That's not a thing. I'm sorry. That's called a scam. It's a scam. If you have to buy sessions to speak to God, you're running a scam. I like scams. I like scams that use faith manipulation against people that believe in God. They don't deserve that, you know? Most people that believe in God, they just want to pray and believe in God and believe in an afterlife and be left alone. They don't need you showing up, telling them they gotta get to some kind of 5D fucking illusionary fucking state and then pay for sessions to be able to speak to this God. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. That's the most entitled thing I've ever heard. Well, I have the equal energy of God. I've never heard anything more entitled in all my life than that. Then I could talk to God because I have equal energy than him. Jesus Christ! You're more delusional than any extremist Christian. I have never had an extremist Christian come and tell me that they're talking to God unless they've been straight up loony and everyone knew they were loony. All right? You literally just came here trying to say you are at the same energy vibration as the creator of all the universe that you claim to believe in. It's just people have to pay for your sessions in order to be able to see them, I guess. Because that makes perfect sense. Exactly, Queen. Any monetary offerings to my church are to spread his word, not to buy my way into heaven. Martin Luther protested that crap. Yeah, like if you are ever in anything that tells you, I will hook you up with talking to God in any way, shape, or form, you just have to pay me $99.99 or whatever the fuck, that is a scam. That is a scam. It is. Don't fall for it. That's what my channel is about, saying don't fall for that shit. That is a scam. And most churches that ask for donations, it's for things like upkeep of the church and, again, for spreading his word, but it is not actually like, donate to me or else you're not going to heaven. Like my Catholic priest, whenever I went to church on Sundays as a kid, never said that once. And he was a bad dude, okay? He went to jail. He was a bad dude, and he didn't even say that. So don't give me that. Don't give me that. Out of here with that. I'm still waiting for Talking Donkey to come collect my money. Yeah, you'll probably be waiting a long time. I'm just saying. 3D is a duality-based paradigm, meaning all parts of the spectrum of dark and light exist here. This is what we call the free will experiment. Humanity could act outside of universal law and become of the linear nature of this existence, but not receive the karma until the next lifetime. So, lessons continue to go unlearned. As we ascend into pure light, all darkness will be exposed so it can be seen, healed, and let go of. All darkness. What is the darkness? Whatever they decide. Understanding vibration and energy will give you the empowerment back to begin consciously creating a different reality for yourself and all of humanity. On the vibrational scale, once you reach 200 level, which is pride because there's a scale and levels, you begin entering into life-enhancing frequencies. Once you reach level 500 in vibration, you are in love-based frequencies. The problem is that 99% of humanity exists mostly under 200 level vibration, which are life-draining frequencies, and thus they have to take energy in some form from others, like a succubus, remember? They actually talked about that in the first one we did. These lower frequencies include blame, anger, desire, fear, grief, anxiety, depression, worry, apathy, guilt, shame, negativity, pain and suffering, lack consciousness, victim consciousness, complaining, jealousy, attachment, competition. The cabal / dark ones, whatever they're called, those guys, can only exist in frequencies under 200 that are life-draining, as they are incapable of existing in higher frequencies, and they exist purely off siphoning energy from others like a succubus. This was in turn taught to humanity. This means that humanity is constantly draining their own energy and must take it from an outside source. In order to raise your vibration to 700 plus, which is enlightenment. One must transform all lower energy vibrations and consistently stay in the higher frequencies of love, compassion, courage, integrity, honor, passion, joy, acceptance, and peace. Once you begin mastering your own vibration, you begin changing everything around you. The beings around you may begin to be triggered as their energy field is now being pressured to increase in vibration as well. All lower vibrations, when met with a higher vibration, must rise to meet that level. This is why the Ascension journey is challenging for many as you begin to outgrow people, places, jobs, and relationships. Yeah, so this is the part of the cult where they actually start to isolate you from everything else, of course. You can't expect them to get in a tube of demons. We need Bob Larson. That's what we need. We need Bob Larson. This gives you Scientology vibes? Yes, very much so. Very much so. Yes, outgrow your family and friends, right? Your jobs, all of your relationships, which, people in relationships I would have thought were the same things. Maybe you have relationships with sentient beings. I don't know. But again, this is where they are, of course, coming in to say, okay, now you have to drop everything you've ever known from the past, right? Isolate yourself from anything and anyone. That is, of course, what makes this more of a cult than a spirituality or a religion, is that it does tick off everything on Stephen Hassan's bite model. The ego will attempt to pull you back to a lower place to make the other being feel comfortable. And this must be met head on. You must never lower your own vibration to meet another on their level. Yeah, right? You want to raise it. But hold the space for them to go through their own process of transformation and set boundaries. Vibration becomes the most important when we look at the intent we have behind every action, word, and consumption of anything. Blessing our food and water is imperative as it changes the molecular structure of the food or beverage to a higher vibration. We need energy is everything here. We must check in with our intent before we speak or act, as the intent can change the entire frequency of the experience. Once we fully become master of energy, we are able to consciously transform anything and everything we interact with, which is essentially bringing 5D into physicality. And that is the end of chapter 11, where we are going to leave off here today. We have read most of it. The last half is a little bit shorter than the first half, but today we did read chapter 7, the 144,000, chapter 8, the brain, chapter 9, consciousness, chapter 10, tools and techniques, and chapter 11, energy and vibration. And it's a good time to stop it there because this is basically like the basis of their spirituality, okay, their cult. After this is more how to go about things and how to use like the chakra system and your divine qualities. And then it talks about Mother of all creation's journey, because you have to learn about that and how to do these things and how to get into the 5D way of being, if you will. And like I said, there are 20 chapters, and these last several here are a little bit shorter than the last ones because it is more of an instruction manual for how to do the Ascension than it is explaining like everything to us. I feel like up till now we've basically had them explaining all of it to us and what it is and what it all means and how and why they want us to get there. And now from this point forward, we're getting more of a, now these are the things you have to do in order to ensure you get there, and the actions. And then they kind of throw in Mother God's story randomly in it. You'll see what I mean when we're reading through that part. You'll be like, this is very, very strange. This is the Ascension manual. It is the 5D full disclosure.com cult. And it is the main one. As you can see, it is the subtitle for it is Exiting the Illusion and Becoming the Greatest and Grandest Version of Yourself. And this is a sec now of the Love Has Won cult, which is the one that had Amy Carlson found mummified in her bedroom just a few years ago. I cover it extensively here on my channel, and have been since she was found mummified. Because unfortunately, that's when I found out about it. Was like right around that time. The live stream started to pop up for me, I think because I cover and research so many other cults and things like that, religions and etc. They randomly started popping up for me like right before she ended up mummified. And I was like, oh my God, what kind of cult is this? And then just as soon as I was kind of realizing that there was this cult, she was found mummified. And I was like, holy fuck, yeah, we got to cover this. And I've been covering it since. And so Love Has Won broke up into two, Sex, Joy Reigns, and then this one, 5D Full Disclosure. And this one has more literature and that, but it is very much still what they believed in Love Has Won. They split into two new cults, but it's all the exact same stuff that Love Has Won believed in. Like I said, they just kind of added in a little bit because they're going to explain why she died and shit, which obviously they then had to add in like after she died. You know what I'm saying? So they added in some new stuff, but the basis of this and pretty much everything that we've read until this moment was already established when they were in Love Has Won. This is their belief system. In Christmas lights of all things, right? Right? Christmas lights, glitter. She was dressed to the nines, had a little crown on her head, you know. It was interesting. So, next Thursday, because now we're going back to doing this on Thursdays, Monday is my commercial cult day, where I am basically going to be talking about on passive now until it stops being a commercial cult and a cult of personality surrounding Ash Mufara. Thursdays is my cult deep dive days, where we deep dive a cult together. And this is the one that we're doing right now because I needed a break from Ekankar. We were doing that one for a while, and that was great and everything, but I'm going to go loony if I don't have a break from it before we dive into more of that later on. So I thought it would be pretty fun to go through this one because it's a little silly. It's a little silly. It gets a little humorous. There's some funny things, you know, amidst some of the darkness, like her being found mummified in Christmas lights, you know. So it's a good one. And since we do have all of their literature, we might as well go through it because if this ever does disappear, because you can't really find anything on just Love Has Won anymore. You know what I mean? Once she died, that thing kind of died, and then you have to go and search out these two new cults to find the information now. So I'm like, okay, so what happens if now these ones stop? Do you get what I'm saying? We need to have a good archive of every single thing that these people believed and the stuff that they were spewing, because believe it or not, there's a few hundred people that are in this cult just over the internet. And manipulation over the internet into cults is a completely brand new thing. It's not a brand new thing. It's been around since the internet has been a thing, but I think most people don't understand how deep people's spiritualities and religions can be to them, and how personal it can be, and how that then makes it easier for people to also fall into cults and weird belief systems just over the internet. When there was a time when, the only way that you were considered to be in a cult was if you lived on a compound somewhere like Jonestown and people were telling you to drink poison Kool-Aid. Unfortunately, it's not like that anymore. Now, with the social media, the internet, we are seeing just a lot of cults just online. And this is probably one of the weirdest ones, one of the most recent ones. It is still going, like I said, till this day, it's still going. But they like to hide every once in a while. So they were dormant for a few months, so we went and covered some other ones, and now they're back the last few months posting, so I'm back. I'm just going to be popping up for them all the time. They already hate me. They write me comments, and they're like, you're the devil. And I'm like, I know. I'm actually his daughter, sorry. But, whatever. So it's been fun, though, kind of seeing where these guys have gone over the last, couple of years since they, mummified Amy. And how they still kind of worship her, even though she's gone. But with a lot of the other cults that I cover, that, as we know, the death of the leader does not just end the cult. Unfortunately, I wish that that's how it worked. A lot of them would be gone by now. Even Scientology would be over with if that's how it worked. But no, it just kind of continues on, and they find a new person to be the leader. Even Eckankar did that, right? With Harold Klemp and so many others. So I do really want to cover this as in-depth as I can on my channel, so that we can be like, yes, this is what they were doing in 2023. Okay? We need to know. Internet orgies aren't good, Joe says. I feel like you could probably get a lot of people to join in, though, compared to in real life. I'm just saying. I'm going to have to check what I missed. Yes, check out what you missed. It will be in my live stream section on my channel. And I hope that all of you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. I don't think I'm going to be on much during the weekend, but I will be back next week in full swing and ready to go. So, no matter where you are, what you're doing, again, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Be safe on here. I just want to reiterate again that down in the description, there are resources as well as a link for this, so that you can read along with me or check it out all on your own. If you want to read ahead, go for it. There's also links, and you can also get a hold of the National Domestic Violence Hotline at this phone number that is scrolling down at the bottom of my screen right now, 1-800-799-7233. And you can get help to leave a cult that way as well. And I'll see you all very, very soon, Monday probably, where we'll be talking about On Passive. Till then, have a wonderful, fabulously amazing weekend. Mwah! Bye! And remember, don't join a fucking cult.